Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door.
"'Tis some visitor," I muttered, "tapping at my chamber door, only this and nothing more."
Ah, distinctly I remember, it was the bleak December, and each separate dying ember brought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow from the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic cares never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating,
"'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, that it is, and nothing more."
Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer.
"Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was napping until so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you."
Here I opened the wide door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortals had ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore?" This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore." Merely this, and nothing more. Back to the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before.
"Surely," said I, "surely that is something on my window lattice. Be still my heart, and let me this mystery explore, for 'tis the wind, and nothing more."
Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped the stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not with the least obsessence made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady perched beside my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas, just beside my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countessans it wore.
"Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou,"
I said,
"art sure no craven. Ghastly, grim, and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore, tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore."
quoth the raven.
"Art no more."
Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear the course so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore, for we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird beside his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust beside his chamber door, with such a name as nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word did he outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, neither feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered,
"Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before."
Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness broken, my reply so aptly spoken,
"Doubtless," said I, "what it utters is only stock and store. caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore of nevermore.
But the raven still beguiling all my sad soul into smiling. Straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of the bird and bust in door. There, upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking, fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking, evermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing, to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining, on the cushion's velvet lining with the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining and the lamplight gloated o'er she shall pass nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from unseen censer, swung by angels whose faint footfalls tickled on the toppled floor.
Wretch!
I cried.
Thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite and nepenthe from the memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and tell me, forget this lost Lenore.
Quoth the raven.
Are nevermore. Prophet,
Said I.
thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by the heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul, which sorrow laden, within the distant Aidenn, it shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels name Lenore.
Quoth the raven.
Are nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend.
I shrieked, upstarting.
Get thee back to the tempest in the night's Plutonian shore. I leave no black plume as a token that thy soul has spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take it from off my door.
Quoth the raven.
Are nevermore.
And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas, just beside my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow lies floating on the floor, shall be lifted nevermore.
Peace up, A-Town down. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Hush, hush, hush. Let's go. Let's go. In the club with my homies, tryna get a little VI. Keep it down on the low key. You should know how it feels. I saw the shorty, she was checking it for me. From the game, she was sitting in my ear. You would think that she knew me.